Why?
Now she retired.
Who told you that?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Salama McFarland,
And I'm Asata McFarland.
and we are the McFarland Group for Homes, and that's the name of our business. And we're both dual careers. Most of you know Mr. McFarland is here during the day, and I also have a career job. I've been in government for 23 years, and that's something, again, that you don't necessarily have to have a bachelor's degree in order to get in and be able to earn 6 figures or more. And Asata and I are here today to talk about real estate. We're gonna talk about what is real estate. We're gonna talk about how do you become a real estate agent? What do you need to be a successful real estate agent? How do you earn your commissions? And what legacy you can leave behind. A little bit about us. I was born and raised in Camden. I grew up here. I attended McGraw, then I went to Davis. I went to East Camden Middle, and I graduated in 92 from Woodrow Wilson High School. And then from there, I went to Rutgers University, where I earned my bachelor's degree over a lengthy 8-year period.
Oh, you like that. So, I was not born in Camden, but I went to Whittier, East Camden Middle, and graduated from Woodrow Wilson High School in 91. Met my wife as a sophomore in high school. Life happens. We actually been married for 32 years. So,
I'm sorry, sir.
Okay.
Oh.
Alright, sorry.
Gotcha.
So I was 13 years old when I met him, and we've been together pretty much ever since. We got married very young. Like Asata said, we've been married for 32 years. We have 3 adult children. We have 2 grandsons. Our oldest lives in Texas with his wife and our 2 grands. And then our other 2 children live with us at home.
Got to get out though. So, again, as far as the goal of this is, one, to have a shared relationship. A lot of people, Camden has a stigma sometimes. We were statistically, for being married young, being parents young, people will count you out. And you had to have perseverance, because we could have just gave into that and just been another notch in the system, but we chose to push ourselves. I didn't even go to college till I was 37 years old. So, long time. I wasn't thinking about college. So, what we want you to understand is, education is great to have, but there's also other venues where you can be successful in life without even going to college, okay? Can anybody name me a job right now that's not entertainment, I'm talking about YouTube or anything like that, or sports related, that you don't need a college degree for, where you can make at least 6 figures? Can anyone name a job like that? Nobody? YouTube, you're not running the ball, shooting the ball. Can anybody think of anything?
Truck drivers.
Beautiful. Truck driver. My son and my daughter-in-law are truck drivers. They make a great living. Y'all like to get your hair done all the time? What's that called? Again. Real estate, what we're talking about. But they all have one thing in common. What's the basic thing you think you need in order to at least do one of those jobs? Nope, you don't need a college degree. What's the basic thing you need? You gotta graduate from, these are jobs, the minimum. You got, because again, sometimes college is not for everybody. A lot of people go to college at a later date now, more than ever. So, but you guys gotta be able to survive and make a living, right? Right? Basic skills, getting your high school diploma, knowing how to read and write are very important. But with those skills, and the skills you guys already have that we're going to talk about shortly, you will be able to be very successful as a real estate agent.
Does anyone know what real estate is?
Okay. Houses, I heard houses. Anyone else? Nobody?
What else can be considered real estate besides the house structure itself.
Land.
That's good.
Good.
Yeah. And even air. If you own a skyscraper, all that becomes part of your real estate.
You own the air, believe it or not.
So the legal definition of real estate is as land and permanent structures like a home or improvements that are attached to the land, whether it's natural or man-made, all of that is considered the real estate.
So everybody hit it in a nutshell. Now, look at land. Are we making any more land?
No.
Right, but they're building stuff, right? They're building stuff on the land that's available. So what do you think, if you had to pick one, would you wanna buy land or would you wanna buy a building?
Building.
You got building? Who says land? Okay, and who else says building? Me personally, I say land. My wife might say buildings. I say land. I wanna own the land, cause sooner or later somebody's gonna try to build on it. So, how do you become a real estate agent? The number one thing we said, what? You gotta have a high school diploma, you gotta be 18 years old. Okay, we're licensed in the state of New Jersey, because we work in New Jersey. Can we be licensed in other states? Yes, but we just choose to stay here for now. You gotta complete a 75-hour pre-licensure course, okay? After completing the course, with the course, there's no grade on it. You either pass it or you fail it. You don't get a 95, a 72, you either pass or fail to be a real estate
You
agent.
try it again.
Huh?
You try it again.
Try it again.
Like, you like do it over.
Oh, you fail? Yeah, you can definitely take it again. You definitely take it again. After you complete that course, what you do is, you take your newly minted license, you go to work under a broker. A broker is basically a manager that oversees you, helps you through stuff. Okay, just like Principal Robinson oversees the school, broker is the manager of a real estate office. Now the caveat with this, with being a real estate agent, you're licensed under New Jersey Real Estate Commission. Now the commission requires, I'm sure all y'all know what the word integral means, right? Integrity,
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
They require that you be integral. That means you gotta have a clean record, okay? They check your credit now, okay? They look for characteristics that if you're doing the wrong thing, like if you were doing business with me, but you see me out here doing this and that, the wrong thing all the time, would you wanna do business with me? Would you trust me? Right, so you gotta be trustworthy, you gotta have good character, okay? It's about being integral, it's very important. Because again, people are taking one of the biggest purchases they'll ever make in their life, and they're entrusting you to help them with that process.
And the real estate commission checks that every year, or at least every 2 years you have to renew your license. And in order to renew your license, you have to take continuing education classes, so it's a lot of ongoing school with that. And you also have to pass the ethics exam. And so they're constantly reiterating, you gotta have good integrity, you have to be trustworthy, and you have to make sure that you know what ethical behavior is. They are always encouraging people to be ethical with their buyers, their sellers, and their fellow agents.
Okay. Another thing, even though we talked about being 18, gotta have a valid driver's license. Clean driving record is very important because you're gonna need a car, okay? You're gonna need to drive around, because you're gonna have to do appointments with your clients, you're gonna have to go to closing, so you gotta be able to drive. Can't get the bus, you don't wanna be getting an Uber to them, right? You gotta be able to get to where you gotta go. The last point on here, I have becoming a mentee. When you get into any field, I don't even care if you go to college for it, any field you get into, you wanna try to have someone that's willing to mentor you. A mentee, when someone Ms. Ware has tons of experience in teaching. As a new teacher, I want Ms. Ware to mentor me, because she's gonna teach me how to be successful as a teacher. You understand what I'm saying? So most mentors are happy to do it, but they're gonna give you the knowledge that they have in order for you to be successful in what you do. And that's one of the things that we do. You guys are gonna be graduating from high school before you know it, it's coming up. So one of the things we're looking to do is to come back to the city, and we wanna work with anyone that's looking to go into real estate, so we can be those mentors for you, help guide you through the process. So you definitely wanna be a mentee. So, can anyone think of the skills you need to be a successful real estate agent? No. How you doing, Jaheem?
Doing good.
Hi, I'm Asata McFarland with the McFarland Group for Homes. Listen, I noticed your house over here, your neighbor down the street just put their house on the market, and we're actually representing them. I was wondering if you'd be interested in putting your home in the market. Okay, so listen, this is what we can do. What I wanna do is, when you get a chance, we wanna schedule a consultation with you. This is my information. Get a card, hold on. This is my information. What me and my wife would like to do is sit down with you and go over what we actually done. We've already done what's called we've done a CMA in your neighborhood. We know what these houses are going for, and we feel we can put your house in the market and possibly get you more, over asking price right now. Would you be willing to sit down with us and see what options you have available with us?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, I just did a little sales pitch to Jaheem. Jaheem's gonna let me list his house. Can y'all do that?
Like,
Can y'all do what I just did?
like talking about go up to a person like.
Y'all can't go up to him and do that? You can, right? You go in the store, you order food, right? Right? It's just a conversation. There's no rocket science to this, anything. It's just a conversation. So, saying that, what's the skill you think you would need?
Communication.
All right.
That's key.
That's key.
And that's one of the one things that you need as an agent in most businesses that you go into. You have to have great communication skills. You wanna make sure that your message is getting across to the person that you're talking to. And you wanna actually listen to what's being said. So those are key skills that you wanna constantly work on improving all throughout your life, because communication and having the ability to communicate well is gonna take you far in life. The other thing you're gonna need in real estate is attention to detail. There's legal contracts that get signed in order for real estate to get transacted and go from one party to another. And we are not real estate attorneys, but we have developed relationships with real estate attorneys in case someone is looking for that extra eyes to look over the contract, to be able to make sure that everything that's in that written document is favorable to the client. Another skill you wanna have is time management skills. Just like you are managing your time every single day, some of you may be in sports, some of you may be, you have your chores that you have to do, you have your homework assignments. All of that is time management, because you gotta make time to be able to do everything you have to do in order to keep your A's. Everybody is trying to get an A in class, and we wanna do excellent work as a real estate agent and whatever we're doing. So that's key in life also, is to develop that skill to be able to manage your time well. Another skill is networking skills. You are building relationships all the time. And just like Asata was saying earlier, when you're meeting people, that's all networking, that's building relationships. And real estate is a relationship business. You're gonna be making connections with contractors, with inspectors, with attorneys, all these different things. And one, you're gathering contact information, but you also wanna be the type of person that people are gonna remember and they're gonna wanna stay in contact with. If you're somebody that's likable, you're trustworthy, and people can respect you, then most of the time, then you're gonna have healthy relationships.
So, we haven't talked about it yet, but how do we make money, right? Real estate agents, they don't punch a clock. As a real estate agent, you're an independent contractor. You work for yourself. So what you put into your job is what you get out of it, okay? We work on what's called commission. A commission is an amount of money that someone is going to pay for our services, okay? So, what do we do as real estate agents? Okay, first thing we do, we negotiate our commission. Okay, Mr. Selfridge wants to put his house on the market. Okay, we reach out to Mr. Selfridge. We schedule a consultation with them, we're gonna sit down with him. Okay, Mr. Selvers, listen, we did a cost analysis in your neighborhood, this is what we feel your house would sell for. This is what we're gonna do for you. Not only are we gonna list your house in the MLS so everyone can see it, we're gonna hold open houses for you. We're gonna advertise your house so people can see it. We're gonna draw up the contract when it's time for, a buyer, when a buyer is found. We're gonna handle getting what's called the CO, which is the certificate of occupancy, so we save him the trouble, we do that. Take care of all that for him. For doing all these things for him, we're gonna charge him 6% commission, okay? Now, does that seem like a lot of money? You know what 6% is, 6% of what, right? For the buyers, we do the same exact thing, okay? We're gonna negotiate. So the buyer job is the same. We gotta, one, make sure that buyer, if we're listing a house for Mr. Selfridge and I'm looking for a buyer for him, I wanna make sure that buyer is qualified. How do you buy a house? What do you need to buy a house? Money, right? They either got cash or they're gonna have to get a mortgage, right? So I wanna make sure I'm bringing a viable buyer that's qualified for his house. Don't wanna waste his time, right? Or your time, because your time is money. You gotta know your worth. Secondly, with that buyer, we're gonna look at properties, we're gonna take them around to different properties and everything. We're gonna do inspections for them. Because again, it's an emotional roller coaster when you're buying a house. Trust me, it's an up and down for us. I can't remember how many times I almost teared up, but I gotta be the tough one. But my wife might have teared up, sometimes things get frustrated, but you don't look at the problem, you look at the solution. That's how you always do. And with each transaction, you get better. Now, my wife's gonna show you what happens with the commission, how you bring home the beans. That's what it's called.
All right, so say we have, what was your name again?
Mr. Selfridge.
Mr. Suffrage.
S-E.
S-E.
Self, S-E-L-F. See, now right there, the contract, we put that, we'd be wrong.
Yeah.
So you gotta dot your I's and cross your T's, right? So,
Yeah, S-E-L F-R-I-D
I-V.
D, yeah, and G.
G-E. Okay. All right.
All right, so Mr. Suffrage home, let's say he's got a house, $400,000 on the market.
That's what we listed this house for. We did a cost analysis, see what other properties going for. This is what we feel his house will sell for on the market, okay?
So typically, when you're, he said we negotiated a 6% commission with Mr. Selfridge. Can anybody tell me what that amount is?
It was 6% of 400,000.
We just did this in class yesterday. Smaller numbers, though. Much smaller numbers.
Everybody
What's
got
6
it?
times 4?
6 times 4? Or it's 24,
And
right?
then you got 3 zeros.
So, what's
So-
6% of 400,000 is?
So $24,000 on the sale of one property. Typically in real estate, there's gonna be multiple agents working on that transaction, and commissions can get split. So what is half of 24,000?
Good.
Also, most agents don't start off owning their own company. So they have what's called a broker that's over top of them. And your commission that you earn is split between your broker and yourself. So let's say we're at a 70-30 split, whereas we're taking 70% and our broker is keeping 30%. What's 70% of 12,000? Somebody have a calculator?
What's 2 times 7?
14.
Alright, so no, and then we need a 1 as well.
Why would it go up?
114,000.
No, it's
It is
10
more.
times 7.
Oh, 10 times
$8,400.
There you go,
There we go.
8,400.
So that's the amount that Asata Salama have earned when selling Mr. Selfridge home.
But I want this, I want it all, so I'm gonna try to find a buyer. If I find the buyers for his house, we get the whole 6%. Mr. Selfridge gets a nice profit and is happy to give us that $24,000. Okay? So either way, 24,000, 12,000, 84, that's nice chunks of money, right? Okay, now, as a real estate agent, again, you're working for yourself. This is one closing, this is just one. And we have a closing on Friday, for a house, $350,000, okay? Nice, be a nice commission for us. So, you're gonna have multiple closings. If you can average like 2 closings a month, say hypothetically you average 2 closings a month, at this price point, okay, what would that be for a whole year?
Wait, 24?
So, I'll go to a low number. Let's say 8,400 times 12. What would you make in a year?
Oh,
That's just 2 closings a month.
No.
that's one closing.
But I said, dude, I said, well, even do 1 closing a month. Just 84 times 12.
Oh, that's 2 closing.
What's 84 times 12? 8,400 times 12. We're just gonna do 1 closing a month, make it really.
Yeah.
Everybody got it?
It's somewhere around 80, like 90 something, 91. It's 900,000, it's somewhere like
I wish it was 900,000.
It's something with a 9, I know it has something.
I was waiting for the answer.
It has to do with 9.
And trick my mind,
Somebody's
math
got
is
it.
not my best subject, so I don't know.
What is it?
100,000. Oh, sorry.
108,000.
Okay, so school.
Now, what did we say at first? A job with no college degree where you can make more than 6 figures. If you did 1 of these a month, you're making $108,000 in a year. At 18. That's a pretty good living, don't you think? And just a side note, you don't need the bling bling car and all that stuff. That's a pretty good living for anybody. For anybody. Do y'all agree? Do y'all agree? Do y'all think right now, do y'all think y'all have some of those skills? Because skills can be developed. Communication, patience, time management, all those things can be developed. That don't cost you anything. It's just getting around the right people to teach you to work with you in the right things to be successful. All this is, as my wife said, this is a relationship business. The better you are at making relationships, the better you'll be at this job. So, you leave a legacy. Real estate is my wife's, I'll let her say this, it's her vision. She sees vision through real estate for us, for our family. And she's 100% correct. So I'll let you.
So one of the things that you can build with real estate is what we're calling generational wealth. You know, in addition to selling properties as a real estate agent, there's multiple things you can do in the real estate industry. So it's one industry that you can tap into in multiple ways. You know, many people get into real estate without even getting licensed as real estate investors. So as an investor, you don't necessarily have to go to school. You don't have to get certified. You don't have to do continuing education. You don't have to pay fees and everything you have to do as an agent. But you can still earn a good amount of money. You know, if you're closing 2 or 3 transactions as a real estate investor, even if you're just doing that a couple times a year, over time, you're building wealth. If you're taking that money, you're reinvesting it, you're saving it. So those are some other things that you can do. And then, like Asata was saying, they're not creating any more land. You know, land is not something that is continuing to be built. So it's something that's extremely valuable. It's always gonna hold its value. And with real estate, it's a market that goes up and down in cycles, but it always generates a return. As long as you're willing to hold it for a certain extended period of time, most times you're always gonna make out better. And you get an opportunity as realtors, whenever you're working in real estate, you're changing people's lives. You know, we bought multiple properties, but anytime you're getting into real estate, you know, that financial transaction, some people, they may buy only one home in their entire life. And being part of that transaction, that is life-changing for that couple, for that person. You know, they could be a single parent and they need this real estate because they need a place for themselves and their family, their children. So being able to be a part of that is something beautiful. It's something good that you're able to do in the world.
And it goes back, we were talking about some of those skill things, the networking. When you're agent for change, and we did our job, we did it well. And so that person, they may not be looking to buy the house, but when they have a relative or friend that says, no, I'm looking to buy my house, who do you think they're going to say, hey, we need to talk to who? Us, right? Right? So it keeps coming around. Like we get referrals, this close, as a matter of fact, the closing we're doing on Friday is a referral, right? Yeah, it's a referral. So, again, college is there, you can do it. I would love to see y'all go to college and graduate, but I also want to see you guys successful. So there's a lot of vocations out there, again, where it's not just about making money, it's about developing these skills. That's what we want to show you, the combination that you need. And I'm telling you, every one of y'all can do this right now. With a little bit of training, a little bit of the certification and stuff, you guys can do the same thing we're doing. You're not old enough yet. You know, when I was 18, I was happy. You know what I used to make my first job? If I told you what I made per hour, I made $4.05. Would y'all work for $4.05 an hour? Back, y'all just laugh, right? Walk away, right? I made really?
Yeah.
Really?
Money's money.
Money's money? What I said before, know yourself, well, know what you're worth, right? Right? Oh, I had a colleague, we had his house on the market, and it didn't sell, so we took it down. Then he decided, I'm gonna put it back up. But right before we did it, because we have contracts and such, someone had reached out to him, another agent says it's still on the market. So he called me and said, listen, I was gonna let you put the house back on the market, but I said, well, why don't we vet them and see if this is a real bona fide offer, right? Now keep in mind, so I could have listed this house again. I could have told him, no, don't talk to them, let me do it. I could have listed this house again, charged him the 6%, right? And I said, you know what, let's talk to him, found out it was a viable offer. And I said, look, if you list it again, it's going to be 6%. That's the split. I said, you better off just working through this, paying the 3%, right? That was thousands of dollars. He said, well, listen. I said, look, no, that's the right thing to do, because I'm being integral. So, not even knowing about it, he went through the transaction and everything. Now, basically, I'm walking away with nothing, right? Because I don't have anything. All I did, got the contract together, reviewed it for him, made some recommendations, what they had in the contract, he fixed it. He comes to church, he hands me an envelope with $1,000 cash in it. $1,000 cash for 10 minutes of work. That's what you're worth, right? I gave it to you, right? Didn't I hand you the money? But it was $1,000, I did 10 minutes of work, nothing. But now I could have been slimy, right? I could have said, no, you gotta list it and did that, but what I did that, and this is a gentleman, he's one of my mentors. Anytime I have a property that needs to be looked at, he's a contractor. He'll go and look through it, do the estimation, evaluation of what's needed for the house, for free. You know what he charges me? Bridge toll and a cup of coffee. That's it. And what he gives me in return is amazing. So these connections that you make can go far. We keep plumbers, electricians, carpenters, we have them all in our database because you never know when you're going to need one. So you guys, I've heard some of you talk. You have the gift of communication. You have the gift of being able to go with the ebb and flow. Okay? You guys are problem solvers. These are all skills that you're going to need if you go into this business. And again, you guys can do great. You can do great. We're going to be coming back to the city. We're actually developing a program when you guys are right in high school about to graduate, we're gonna come back to the high schools because we wanna help anyone that's looking to become a real estate agent. We wanna mentor them, we wanna guide them through the process, we wanna help them in their first transaction, because one of the hardest things is to get your first sale, is to go through that. So we wanna guide you through that, and by doing that, it's helping making you a better agent, and it's gonna benefit us because you'll probably wanna work under our brokerage. So we wanna be there to show you how to do this the proper way. You know, by that time, you guys, they'll graduate, 5 years, basically? Right, around 5 years, right? That's a short period of time, guys, it's a short period of time. But we want you to be ready, you want to be prepared. Like I said, look at these careers, we're talking about real estate, someone said cosmetology, he said truck driving. You know, my son and my daughter-in-law is from Germany. He married her over in Germany. My son was in the army. Now, her high school diploma wasn't accepted in the United States. So she had to come over here and take the equivalency, the GED. She was looking to go to college. She decided, you know, I'm gonna get my truck CDL license too. Now her and my son both drive trucks, and they make a very good living. Very good living, and they're home every day. They're home every day. They love it. So these jobs are out there. So you guys need to, like, you know, if you guys, who always has money in their pocket? I'm telling you, the people that do hair, the barber shops, right, the guys that cut hair and stuff, they always got money because they always need somebody to do it. That's a skill you learn, you go to school, you do this, and I'm just thinking about all these things. Because when you guys take the time to learn these skills, that's going to sustain you. You can be very successful doing it, okay? So, does anyone have any questions about anything? No questions? None? None whatsoever? Ain't my wife pretty? Ain't my wife pretty?
So one of the things you're definitely gonna need in life, like Asata was saying, we're gonna develop programs that be able to teach financial education and knowing what to do once you get money. So it's very important, once you earn money, to actually know how to handle it. You know, banking skills are very important, knowing how to save money, knowing where to invest your money. Those are things that you definitely wanna make sure you're learning and you're developing that skill, because money is something you need to be able to barter your way through life. So these are some of the things, the skills that you learn. One, as you get into the real estate field, it's an area, even if you're working in a different career, real estate is something that's gonna touch your life at some point. Whether you're just looking for a place to live, you can rent, and we help people get into rental properties. You can buy the house, so you're gonna be purchasing properties, and you may wanna get into investing, and that's where you're gonna be doing multiple transactions throughout your life. So pay attention to what's happening in the market, pay attention to what's happening in the communities. Politicians, they may be talking about different things. You may wanna just keep abreast of what's going on, and that's gonna help you all throughout your life.
Don't buy Takis, buy stock in Takis. Yeah.
Buy what?
Buy stock in Takis. Don't buy the Takis, buy the stock. Yeah. All that money that's little. Alright, so sure nobody has any questions? Did y'all find it interesting at all?
Yeah.
So what topics did you learn about today? Did y'all have any other sessions?
Yes.
Sports?
No, it's the sports? What was the sports one about? What was, just curious.
Sports media?
Oh, sports media?
What did the person do?
Do you remember her name?
Miss something. I know it started with a P or something.
Yeah.
At least you remember that place. Chanel there.
Oh, Miss Perry. Oh, okay, Miss Perry. Okay. What else did y'all go to? Did y'all go to a different one?
No, that was it.
Oh, okay. What is this old media?
Do you guys have careers in mind now?
No.
Oh, really?
You're 7th grade?
Who said he wanted to be a mechanic? That's a great field. Great field. My son he has two friends that went to Camden County Technical, and they took the automotive. They're making like $40 an hour as working as mechanics. That's ridiculous. Like, and they just went to Camden County Technical, graduated, and they're working in the garages making $40 an hour. Like, that's a nice piece of change. Yeah. And they're what? They're 22, 23 now. So life's, got nothing but life ahead of them. So. What's up, Jaheem? Nothing. So what do you think, Miss Brianna?
I'll be an electrician.
That's a great field. That's a great field.
Very good.
Yes, put you in the database. What do you think? Anyone think you like? Okay.
You gonna be a professional gamer.
You could be a real estate agent. I can see you now. I can see you showing houses now. I can see you like, listen, this is the cathedral ceiling. I can see you doing
Would
that.
you see him as a professional gamer?
Anesthesiologist. Woo.
Nah, you gonna be playing.
I'll be like one of those people that people that kind of like tall, like.
You want to climb the phone? You was in Verizon thing?
You're gonna repair the windmills.
Hey,
They get paid a lot of money.
Yeah, they get paid a lot of money.
You get like 600K now.
Yeah, they get paid a lot of money. They're making, I think, did they just sign, like they're doing more?
More cell tower.
Yeah, they're doing more, yeah, that's lucrative.
Scary, I don't like heights. You could not pay me that
I'm
money.
gonna look up the whole thing.
Heights don't bother you, Malachi? Heights don't bother you?
Mr. McFarland, I got one question.
What's that?
Tomorrow we go into the game room and I was gonna ask you, can you
You're going to the game room, when? At what time? Well, I'm gonna be here till 12 tomorrow,
It probably won't be after.
but.
I was gonna ask you if you open up the cabinet.
Man, see if I'm here. Yeah, who's gonna be in there with you?
It's gonna be either me or
Alright, yeah. I'm here.